If you want to end the separation between you and your twin flame, if you want to achieve that sense of unity and oneness and connectedness, even though you're not together in the 3D, then the best starting point for you would be to learn how to tune in with the vibration of unconditional love and surrender into love. This journey is teaching us unconditional love more so than any other journey. There's not going to be anybody else in your life that you're going to have more love for as your twin flame. That's your other half. We cannot help but love them, but at the same time, our ego always creates resistance and conditions for that love. You know how many times I've caught myself falling into this beautiful unconditional love for my twin flame, only later discover that my ego constantly wants me to pull me away from him, so to speak. And I've been watching and observing that because I've been, consciously working on that and see where it's coming from. And I think it's really the truth for many of us. We have that love for our twins that coexists with also the wounds and everything else that happened before. But the key to this is forgiveness. Is forgiveness, complete forgiveness of your twin flame, and complete surrender into love. If your runner, divine masculine, needed their time to reflect on things and they pulled away, or they ceased communication and all of that, as hard as it is, it's something that we can respect, because we're looking at it from a different perspective. Instead of getting sad or mad, right? Same for other situations. For example, if you encounter your twin flame in daily life and of course you could be hurting by the lack of communication, the lack of their engagement, and you create this resistance, right? It's this inner feeling inside of you that is hurting, and that's completely understandable. It could be very painful. It could be. However, remember that is your divine counterpart. Okay? And remember that you are working as a team. As they trigger you into healing, right? They're triggering you by their behaviors. They're also on their own path to healing. And they have their own journey, right? We all come from different environments. Our twin flames, these connections, the way they're built, we come from different ages with age gaps, different cultural backgrounds, different socioeconomic situations, right? Different countries sometimes. Sometimes you're separated by the distance or other things, right? So there's all these obstacles that we need to overcome that are standing on the way to feeling the unity with your twin. And I'm not just talking about coming into the 3D union. I'm talking about coming into that inner unity with your twin flame. But the only way to reach that inner unity is to connect with that love. Every time you want to get sad, mad, or angry, this is something you need to look deeper into, because that goes against the nature of this connection. And the faster you surrender into love, the faster you accept that love. Of course, it gets easier after you release your own wounds and all of that. Of course, we need to go through our healing. If you're not at that stage yet, of course, it's very hard to fall into unconditional love while you still have all the trauma, all the wounds, and maybe you're still resolving and processing things that happened between you and your twin. For me, it took a while to forgive my twin flame for not communicating, even though I had no doubt that it's obviously not personal, that I know that he is going through his own path of healing and he does what he needs to do. But my ego was constantly wounded by it until I reached a certain level where I was like, you know what? I respect where he is on his journey. I understand that he cannot communicate right now, and that's okay, but it doesn't mean that there's no love between us. It doesn't mean that I cannot allow myself to feel love for him. I can still allow myself to feel love because I cannot help but feel love for my twin. I feel more love for my twin than I ever felt for anyone. And it was like that since the beginning. And as much as I went through the ego being against it, every single time I would come back to realization that surrendering into that love is the answer. And that what helped me to reach the inner union as well. And feel so connected with my twin flame, even though we haven't talked for months. I don't care. I feel connected with him more than ever. What's interesting? Some people live, I don't know if you've been in one of those relationships before. I've been. You can be under the same roof with person, yet feel so far. But then you could be distance away from your twin, or not communicating, but still feel so close, where you don't have to talk to them to feel close to them. Because once you tune in with that vibration of love, once you catch that vibration of unconditional love, that's really all you need. You even lose the need of having them in the physical. You still want them in the physical, of course. But once you hit that threshold of expectations and conditions, and just really have this full acceptance for, this is where my twin flame right now on their journey. They are very different from me, even though we share a soul and we have so many similarities. I acknowledge that my twin flame came from a completely different environment, different upbringing. He had different experiences from mine. He doesn't see the reality in the exact same way. Our perception of reality is very similar. We are very similar. Yet, we both have different perception of the reality, because that's another human right there. Yes, we do have shared energy and we do have that love between us, but that's a different human. And I have to respect that. I have to respect that he is different, that his perception of reality is different, that the way he processes emotions could be different, right? So sometimes we're too quick to judge what our twin flame is not doing. Your true nature is love. And the faster you realize it, the better it is for everyone. And the better it is for you and for this connection as well. And once you tune in with that vibration, that's going to keep you out of the low vibrational energies of, hurt, anger, frustration. Just allow yourself to feel love for your twin with no conditions or expectations. Just let them be as they are. Allow them to be who they are. That's what love is. Love rhymes with allow, right? Love, allow. This is how I look at love these days. Not that my love for my twin comes with the long list. No, it doesn't come with a long list anymore. I just allow my twin flame to be who he is in this world. He is where he is. I don't know everything he's been through, and I don't judge. Wherever he is, it's fine. I'm fine regardless. I'm focusing on myself and focusing how I can fill my own cup, right? And this is what we all should be doing. Self-love, it's called, right? Filling your own cup is self-love. So focusing on self-love allows you to feel more love for your twin flame. It's all about love and acceptance. It's all about understanding the yes, and that's your divine counterpart, and your other half, but they are who they are in this human experience. And this is when unconditional love comes in. And this is your lesson of unconditional love that we all have to learn, right? Just of complete acceptance of where they are. And I'm going to tell you what, surprisingly, once you loosen up that resistance, once you start accepting where they are, energetically, our twins feel that. They feel that you're accepting them. Because we all want to be accepted. Don't you want to be accepted unconditionally? Didn't you crave to be accepted by your parents and by your caretakers and by maybe other people in your life, romantic connections fully? We all want that. But if we want that, we need to learn how to accept as well, right? And so more than anything, your twin is craving for your acceptance of where they are and respecting the space if they need the space. They do appreciate if you give them the space. A lot of them are confused about their emotions. A lot of them might be very overwhelmed with their emotions. Again, let's not judge. Let's just dump the judgment already. And once you dump that judgments, once you release that resistance, you are going to be falling into this pure bliss, heaven and earth. And you don't even need to have your twin by your side, which is another condition, by the way, of loving them for many people, but not anymore for me, at least. This is not the condition for me to love my twin. I can let myself love my twin even though he's not next to me. That's okay. That's okay. I can love him from the distance. That's perfectly fine. Again, the sooner you start recognizing when you're being manipulated by your ego mind and your wounded self, and falling into that victim mentality, the faster you're going to fall into that unconditional love vibration, which is going to bring you peace, bliss, and your requirement for your twin flame in your life is going to get less and less. And you're only going to be feeling more and more connected with your twin, more than ever, because again, what creates separation is your mind. It's all the conditions, expectations, agendas. This is how it should be, right? According to your own statute of laws. But this is not how these connections are. This is not how they work. This is not how they're designed. And they're designed precisely for you to transcend your ego mind and acknowledge that your twin, although connected with you, is still another human with different set of experiences. And you have to allow them to be as they are and forgive them. Just release all of that, release all of the conditions, expectations, and all of that. And you can watch my video on EFT tapping on how to release it, which is posted. And so that's going to help you quite a bit. So again, these are the things that help me to get into unity consciousness. I have other videos about this, but more than anything today, I wanted to talk about releasing that resistance of how you want your twin flame to be in 3D and what you want them to do in 3D. And this is going to take you miles closer to your spiritual ascension and your own peace and joy and happiness. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm here for you if you need any kind of help. I provide one-on-one counseling. I provide tarot readings as well to help you look into the energetic nature of your situation and take a deeper look while using the guidance from the divine. And so I'm here for you if you need anything.